Translate this to our parish homes. This means that young people need to have their own ministries, that they feel they can make impactful decisions. All of this within the context of church rules. For example, they will not have a separate bank account. They will not have executive authority over any church asset, and they should have an adult supervisor at every meeting. Groups like Legion of Mary, which I've really come to appreciate, in their documentation recognize the need for a junior branch, always with a senior advisor. We need to implement this, beloved. As part of this mission, I want you to go back and look at the ministries you're involved in and see if you can give a junior ministry to that age group that we keep losing, that one that happens after confirmation. After confirmation, we lose them. Some people say, let's put them into ministry. Quite frankly, a lot of these ministries look like a funeral ministry to them. So you got to have something in between. Let them have a little junior ministry and then the old person to advise them. Because the old person better be able to advise them because the devil is very, very busy. Just last week, I counseled a young man who came into the church for help. Found out he was 33 years old. Never married and homeless. He told me that between 11th grade and about the age of 30, he was in the world and was now trying to recover. That's about 15 years of homelessness. Of course, after finding out what I could do for him, I had invited him back home to the church. That's the starting point. We need not be afraid of the younger generation. We simply need to empower them, to guide them, and keep a close watch on them. I'm not talking theory, beloved. I will end with a story about bringing home the homeless. And if I boast in the Lord. In our judo program with Holy Family, we have kids come after school until about 6:30. We train them. About 40 boys and girls, and it's growing. We then feed them a hot meal. And we then help them with their homework. Now, it's a very strict, disciplined environment, and they love it. Can you imagine this? We actually have to run children from hanging around the church. Get out of here. Go home. They can't get enough of it. Everyone has to say grace and eat at the tables. You have to eat. If any of you have ever been in a monastery, the way they do it, we do it that style. I sit down. You learn how to make the sign of the cross, even if you're a Rasta. There's no negative talk allowed. And if you don't train, you don't eat. It's the whole package. A few days ago, one boy snuck into the meal time. I noticed him. He didn't want to do the practice. He didn't want to climb the rope. He didn't want to do the judo. But he snuck in for the meal time. And when I saw him, he had a nice big plate of food. I took it from him. And my daughter rebuked me later that night and said, "How is that mercy, Dad? You have a hungry child, and you took away his plate." And I explained to her that if a person is broken, cannot help themselves, afflicted by mental illness or addiction, I will feed that person. But no lazy boys can eat my food. They need to understand that rights come with responsibilities. Rights come with responsibilities. But But I felt bad about it because I didn't want my daughter thinking I was being cruel. But the next day I asked her if he came back, and she said, yes, and he trained. If I had not wept for those boys, I would not be able to understand their situation. When we talk about mercy here, we're not talking about being a marshmallow and letting them take advantage of the church. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about truly understanding their situation so we can help them in the best way possible, even if it means beating a kid till he jumps out of the classroom. That's what it is. And so, beloved, where's the Lord calling you to weep? Begin there. Maybe a small action. Maybe something large. I don't know. Begin there and be moved to comfort the afflicted and bring the homeless home to the Catholic Church. To God be the glory.